श्रीवत्सवंशकलशोदधिकौस्तुभस्य श्रीवासराघवगुरोस्तनयं ततश्च विद्या अवाप्य विबुधोत्तमतां दधानं कुर्वे सदा हृदि गुरुं करुणाकराख्यं लक्ष्मीनाथसमारम्भां नाथयामुनमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां यो नित्यमच्युतपदाम्बुजयुग्मरुक्मव्यामोहतस्तदितराणि तृणाय मेने अस्मद्गुरोर्भगवतोऽस्य दयैकसिन्धोः रामानुजस्य चरणौ शरणं प्रपद्ये मातापिता युवतयस्तनया विभूतिः सर्वं यदेव नियमेन मदन्वयानाम् आद्यस्य नः कुलपतेर्वकुलाभिरामं श्रीमत्तदङ्घ्रियुगलं प्रणमामि मूर्ध्ना भूतं सरश्च महदाह्वय भट्टनाथ श्रीभक्तिसारकुलशेखरयोगिवाहान् भक्ताङ्घ्रिरेणुपरकालयतीन्द्रमिश्रान् श्रीमत्पराङ्कुशमुनिं प्रणतोऽस्मि नित्यम् श्रीमान् वेङ्कटनाथार्यः कवितार्किककेसरी वेदान्ताचार्यवर्यो मे सन्निधत्तां सदा हृदि. In the previous lecture, we saw the example of one person. Who did we see? We saw Ajamila. Ajamila became a very great bhakta. In spite of all of that, he got Acharya Sambandha, he got to learn, but did it automatically give him moksha? It did not. We saw that something more is necessary beyond that. Correct? Today, we will look at another example. This is going to be different. Why? Because we are looking at Jada Bharata, whose story is extremely popular again, and in whose case we have a span of multiple lives. So if you look at Srimad Bhagavatam, where Parikshit is being taught, in Srimad Bhagavatam, the 5th canto, there are multiple chapters talking about Jada Bharata. Jada Bharata, first his story is there. Then he starts teaching Rahugana, that king. And then Rahugana also asks questions further. And Jada Bharata answers. So we have multiple chapters talking about Jada Bharata's teachings. But the most important part for us is the 9th chapter, where his story itself is narrated. What was he doing? There was a great king called Bharata. I'm sure you know the story already. There was a very great king called Bharata. He, after finishing his duties as a king, there are people who ask about Vanaprastha Ashrama. Vanaprastha is a stage between Grihastha and Sannyasa. Just like how we say Sannyasa Ashrama is not mandatory to get the supreme moksha. As per Ramanuja Siddhanta, attaining Sannyasa Ashrama is not mandatory for attaining moksha. Then is Vanaprastha mandatory? That is also not mandatory. As a matter of fact, you have to do your ashrama dharma, you have to advance to the next ashrama when it is required. When the age is appropriate, you have to get married. If the situations are such that you cannot serve dharma properly while being in Grihastha ashrama, you leave that. That is what happened in the story of Bhagavad Ramanuja himself. So he took up sannyasa so that he could better serve dharma, and not because taking sannyasa ashrama was necessary to get moksha. We have to remember that. Now, why are we talking about sannyasa ashrama? What was Jada Bharata doing? Why was he called Jada Bharata? He was a king called Bharata. He was a very great king, not just in terms of ruling, but also in terms of dharma. He was a great devotee, very great bhaktiman he was. So, in fact, this is how Sage Shuka introduces him. He says, Bharatastu Mahabhagavataha. He was a great Bhagavata. Such a great person he was. He followed whatever teachings were given to him by his father. Pitrivachana Paripalana he did. And he married the girl selected by his father. And he ruled in a very good way. He got 5 children as well. Because of his rule, we got the name Bharata Varsha. In very, very early times, there was a king called Nabhi. Because of him, the place used to be called as Ajanabha Varsha. Eventually, due to the rule of Bharata Maharaja, it got the name Bharata Varsha. This is given to us in Srimad Bhagavatam itself. Ajanabham nama etad varsham Bharatam iti yata arabhya vyapadishanti. So, his rule was so great. Imagine, his rule was so great. Today, we are saying that officially, as per the government, we are called India and also Bharat. There is one Supreme Court lawyer, Sai Deepak. He wrote a book, India that is Bharat. Very beautiful book. India is Bharat. Bharat is India. But what is the source of that word Bharata? Here, Bharata Varsha. So, such a great king was there. He was skilled and he was scholarly. So, he was not making mistakes. And he was very dear to all the people. Nobody hated him. He performed lots of yajnas. Lots of different types are mentioned as having been performed by him. He performed Agnihotra, he performed Darsha, he performed Purnamasa, Chaturmasya, then Pashu Yajna, Soma Yajna, so many types he performed. Very great person. In Mahabharata, we see Yudhishthira also, after going to the forest, Yajna after Yajna, he will be performing. He might have lost the kingdom, but he did not lose his character. Yudhishthira. Yudhesthiraha. Or what do you say? Yudhishthiraha. Now, this Bharata Maharaja, he was a pure bhakta. He performed all of these not for his own welfare, but he had performed karma phala tyaga. So he had already got certain aspects. Now, what are the 6 points mentioned in the slide? Try to remember. These are Acharya Prapti Hetavaha. These are the causes of Acharya Prapti. So, when he was a Maharaja, he was performing things to please Bhagavan. And he got to learn Dharma also properly. Maybe in a life, even before he became a Maharaja, he would have done good punya. But the complete blessing of Bhagavan to guarantee moksha at the end of his life had not been obtained by him. He was Satvika. How did we explain Vishnoho Kataksham? We said Vishnu Kataksha is explained as the Jayamana Kataksha. So, when he was born, if Bhagavan Vishnu had seen him, what would have happened to him? That person would have become Satvika, Vijnaya, and Mokshartha Chintaka. We see that Bharata Maharaja was a Satvika, otherwise the meaning will change, Asatvika. So he was a Satvika, Parama Satvika, Mahabhagavata. Vijnaya, you cannot be a Bhagavata if you do not have that kind of knowledge, correct? So when he performed yajnas, he did karma phala tyaga. He offered everything to Bhagavan. That great Bhagavan. How is that Bhagavan? What is the concept? Vishishtadvaitha says that everybody is his Sharira. He is the Shariri of all. He is the Nimitta Karana and Upadana Karana in the Srishti of everybody. And he is also the Shariri of everybody at all points of time. So, he understood the Tattva that at the end of the day, the real giver of the blessing is Bhagavan Vasudeva only. There is this famous shloka, Akashat patitam toyam yatha gacchati sarvadeva namaskaraha keshavam prati gacchati. Why is it said Sarvadeva namaskaraha keshavam prati gacchati? That too, yatha akashat patitam toyam sagaram gacchati. Like how drops of water that fall from the sky eventually reach the ocean. In the same way, Sarvadeva namaskaraha, the prayers that you give, no matter to which deva, eventually it will go only to Keshava. Why? What is the property of that Keshava? Shiva explains, Lord Shiva explains the property of Keshava. He says, Kaiti Brahmano Nama, Ishoham Sarva Dehinam, Avam Tavanga Sambhutau, Tasmat Keshava Namavan. Kaiti Brahmano Nama, Brahma's name is Ka. Ka is a name of Brahma. Ishoham Sarva Dehinam. All the Dehis, that is all the Jivas, they identify me as Isha. Isha means controller. Avam Tavanga Sambhutau. But we came from your Angas as your Shariras. Therefore, Tasmat Keshava Namavan. Therefore, you are called Keshava. Ka Isha Va. That way. This shloka is cited by Adi Shankaracharya also in his Vishnu Sahasranama Bhashya. Very famous shloka. So, he is Sarva Shariri. Understanding him to be the Shariri of all. Suppose the Yajna says, go pray to Indra, pray to somebody else. Now you know that Indra is not Paramatma. Yet, when praying to Indra, am I really praying to Indra there? I might say, Indra Eswaha, but I am not praying to Indra. Who am I praying to? I am praying to the indweller of Indra. I am praying to the Shariri of Indra. That Shariri, that Paramatma is Vasudeva. So, as per the original procedure, in Mukhyartha itself, Bhagavan Vasudeva is implied. Even when the other deities' names are being said. Because as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, he is the one who grants the phala, correct? No matter which devata is being worshipped. Krishna says, there are people who worship other devatas, but those devatas are all my shariras only. Therefore, I am only giving the phala to that devotee as well. This concept was fully understood by Bharata Maharaja. So, he understood that everything is for Vasudeva. And having understood that way, he continuously did karma phala tyaga. By understanding this, he advanced spiritually very quickly. Of course, Mahabhagavata. We have already been given his introduction that way. Now, being a pure devotee, he did not just do the yajnas, he also started contemplating on Bhagavan. Remember, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnoho, Smaranam. That Smarana he started doing. He started experiencing Bhagavan. Now, he was living as a grihastha. Correct? He had married the woman pointed at by his father. He had got children as well. He was living as a householder. Then, after he got old, he thought, okay, I have done my duties. My sons have also grown up. So let me do one thing. Let me divide the wealth for my sons and then retreat. Let me retreat and settle in an ashrama. He did that. He went to Pulaha ashrama. Now, such a great person, what could go wrong? He is going to a very sacred ashrama, which is already well known. And he was living alone. He lived alone. We saw the story of the Alvar. What was the Alvar doing? He was living and he was offering flowers, tulasi, and so on. He would create a garland and then offer to Bhagavan. Correct? We said the Alvar was an incarnation of the divine garland of Bhagavan. So, in a similar way, Bharata Maharaja, what was he doing? He collected fruits and roots and offered all of them to Bhagavan. He was still happy. There was no problem. There was no problem. You think about it. He had all of these kinds of qualities already. Ishvarasya Sauhardam, yes. Yadarcha Supratam, yes. Vishnu Kataksha, yes. Advesham, definitely. It is not mentioned anywhere that he had dvesha towards anybody. Then comes something called Abhimukhyam. What is this Abhimukhyam? Do you know? Do you remember? Abhimukhyam. It is the willingness to learn in a focused manner. Now, suppose you have attained an acharya. After that, of course, you should have the willingness to learn. But let us say you have learned. Then you should have that focus channelized into practicing what has been learned. Bharata Maharaja seems to be practicing everything. He seems to have been practicing everything. He was continuously contemplating on Bhagavan's lotus feet. Such a person should surely get moksha immediately. Is it not so? And this Raja, he was a great scholar. He was a great Sattvic person. He recited the Veda to please Bhagavan. He contemplated on Bhagavan. He collected flowers, offered roots, everything. Yet, just like how we say that by chance, if some punya karma is there, it would be used by Bhagavan to quickly give us moksha. By chance, you could also have extra papa karma from the past. Now, Bharata Maharaja was carrying some papa karma. That is where the problem began. So one day, he was reciting a mantra to pray to Bhagavan. He was on the banks of the river Gandaki and he was praying to Bhagavan. At that time, the problem started. Now one animal came. This animal came running. Bharata Maharaja was focused in his meditation. At that time, this animal, deer, it is coming. Deer usually doesn't make a lot of noise, right? What does it do? It is known to be a very peaceful animal. The deer came to the river, started drinking water. It was very calm and peaceful. Suddenly, a lion started roaring. The deer got scared. Being scared, it got afraid. Oh no, I am going to be hunted. I am going to be killed. What is going to happen to me? It started panicking. It had not had enough water. It was pregnant. It knew that it cannot run and escape from the lion. It is pregnant. How can the pregnant deer run? Still, if it stays in the same place, the deer will also die. Its child will also die. What to do? It did not know. It simply jumped. Out of panic, when it jumped, it gave birth to its baby. The baby fell down into the river because this mother had jumped so quickly. And it was carried by the river water. It fell into a stone cave. It hit the cave. It is just a small baby. What will happen to it? It died. Bharata Maharaja is seeing all of these things. Bharata, let us not call him Maharaja now. He has left. Of course, he who was a Maharaja at some point, he saw what is happening. He thought, this is very bad. Oh, sorry. It is the mother that died. The mother jumped, the baby survived, the mother got carried away, and the mother died. That is the story. Sorry. So he has seen everything that had been happening. And he realized that this baby is not going to have a mother to bring it up. Now, what will the baby do? It knows nothing. It can't even move. And then there is this lion also roaring. Who can protect it? The mother is not there. Let us take it and protect it. He took it to his ashrama and kept it. Now, can we say that this distraction is what prevented him from attaining moksha? No, we can't. Whatever he did at that point of time had to be done. There are a lot of people who say the great Bharata was meditating. He got distracted by a deer, and because of that, he couldn't attain moksha. But that is not how the story goes. The story is that he showed kindness to it. He offered it protection. He started bringing it up. As he started bringing it up, he started feeling more and more affection towards it. The samsara bandha that he wanted to cut, he wanted to cut the bandha completely, for which reason he had retired to the forest, having been separated from his own children. He got separated from his children, but his feelings of love came back. So he started showering all that love to the deer as though it is his child. So he always protected it, always embraced it. As he started becoming that way, he started thinking more about the deer than about Bhagavan. Now, I have heard some people say this happened only because he saw the deer, otherwise, it wouldn't have come. But it is not like that. The deer should not be blamed for any of this, nor is it a kind of Leela. We should have that focus. We are getting every single thing from Bhagavan. Imagine. He got all of these six were satisfied by him, therefore he got a Sadacharya. Ishwarasya cha sauhardam yadrucha sukrutam tatha Vishnu kataksham advesham abhimukyam cha satvikaihi sambhashanam shadetani acharya prapti hetavaha. That was the shloka, right? These six qualities were all there with Jadabharata. Therefore, he got an Acharya. Therefore, he learned the scriptures. Therefore, he followed so well. Despite all of that, he fell. It is not as though Indra sent the deer to distract him. It is not as though Bharata was trying to obtain Indra Loka. Correct? So, when he saw the deer, he did not immediately lose his mind. The way Vishwamitra lost his mind when he saw a damsel. That is not what happened with Bharata. He was a great bhakta and he still had the control. But over a period of time, that affection developed. And therefore he started thinking more about the deer than about Bhagavan. And thus, his practice of Bhakti Yoga faltered. So he forgot everything that he was supposed to do every day as a ritual. And he started taking care of the deer. For a normal person, the question might arise, what is wrong in that? He is stopping prayer only to take care of the deer. What is wrong? No. He could have handled both at the same time. He could have kept the deer with him and still performed his rituals. But what happened? Despite having the option, see, remember this, when he was a king, at that time also he had children. He took care of his children, he took care of his family, he took care of the entire kingdom, and still he performed all the rituals necessary for Bhagavan. Taking care of one deer wouldn't have been impossible for him. He would have definitely been able to do by the grace of Bhagavan. But he started thinking more and more about the deer instead of Bhagavan. That is where the problem started. Therefore, as he grew old, he started thinking more and more, I have to protect it. I have to protect it. It has nobody else. It has nobody else. What do I do? At one point, he realized that his bhakti that was shown previously, that has decreased. I am no longer performing all of those rituals for Bhagavan. He realized it. He realized that the deer is distracting him. What should you do? Hmm? Take the case of Vishwamitra. What did Vishwamitra do? Indra sent a damsel. Vishwamitra lived with her. He got a child. Then one fine day he remembered that he was performing great tapasya to become Brahmarshi. What did he do? He immediately left the family behind and started performing tapasya. What happened in the case of Jadabharata though? When he realized that his own focus is being decreased, he thought about it in a slightly different way. A lot of people are there who like to interpret things in their own ways. There are people who do not want to accept if the scripture has said something, just accept and follow. No, they will want to assess, they will want to think by themselves, they will want to love taking decisions by themselves. They will do some calculation in their mind and then they will think this is correct, this is wrong, and they will think that whatever they are thinking is only correct. So tomorrow, if you show the Shastra to them, they might not accept even the Shastra. No, Bharata was a person who would definitely accept the Shastra. But who is going to come and show to him when he makes a mistake? He is there in the forest where there is nobody else. Only that deer is there. That too cannot speak. That is itself protected by him. And that very protection is what is harming his spiritual practice. So, Jada Bharata, who not yet Jada, right? Bharata, he thought this deer has nobody to protect. I am the only person who has been protecting it, and therefore it has surrendered to me. It has surrendered to me. So, what should I do? I should take care of it. I should take care of it no matter what happens. Why? Because it has nobody else. It is dharma to protect those who do not have protection, the innocent who do not have any other protection. It is dharma to protect them. It is my duty to protect. So when it has come to me for shelter, how can I let it go? I cannot. So even though he realized that slowly his spiritual practices are decreasing, he realized that his spiritual practices are decreasing, and still he took the wrong decision. He thought taking care of the deer is more important. Remember, Shastra is not against taking care of the deer. Shastra is about not losing your mind completely in the deer. There is a difference between the two. So his compassion eventually turned into affection. That affection which was shown towards Bhagavan, it moved and became affection shown to the animal. So he would always be there. He would eat food along with it. He would take bath along with it. Whatever he did, he had it with him. Once, so also whenever he would go to the forest also to collect items, he would go only with the deer. Sometimes he would also carry it by himself and he would feel great pleasure as though he is carrying his own newborn baby. Now, this was a problem. He was not able to pray to Bhagavan properly. So, compassion turned into attachment. That attachment in the form of love eventually started giving him fears. What kind of fear? Sometimes the animal would be there, silently sitting somewhere. Bharata would be performing puja. Not hearing the sound of the deer, he would start panicking. Oh no, what happened to it? Could something bad have happened? Where is it? Where is it? He would search. Then he would find, okay, it is just resting there. He would be happy. This is just motherly love, right? What is the problem? The problem is that you have lost focus in bhakti. So he lost focus in bhakti. He used to panic and then search everywhere and then find it. He always wanted to see it. Every once in few minutes, his mind would ask him, where is the deer? Where is the deer? Now, this was a problem. He thought, what is going to happen? This deer, without it, I cannot live. But one day, again, he saw that the deer is gone. This time, he could sense that it is nearby. It was safe. So he said, look, you did so many dharma karyas, you did so many rituals, you did so many yajnas. After coming to the forest also, you took up so many penances. But you are not that blessed. This Bhumi is blessed. Why? Because it has got the footprints of the deer. How would he have said this if he had remained a pure bhakta? He would have said, I have done all these rituals, but I did not have the opportunity to see Bhagavan. But this Bhumi, how lucky she is. Bhagavan takes avatar after avatar after avatar, and she gets to receive the imprints of his holy feet. Isn't this the way we should be thinking? But look at the way Bharata thought. He thought, oh, this earth is so blessed that it is getting the imprints of the feet of this animal. It is so lucky. So, what has happened? The bhakti that he was showing towards Bhagavan, the greatness that he was seeing in Bhagavan, the attraction that he was having in Bhagavan, all of that got cut. Now he had become like a bhakta of that animal. He found the animal to be more attractive than everything else. This was the problem. Why did this happen? This happened due to prarabdha papa. Eventually, he got old. He knew that his time is coming. The deer is there with him. He knows that he is going to die. When you are going to die, what should you do? You should think about Bhagavan. When you are going to die, you should think about Bhagavan. It is said in the Shastras that if you think about Bhagavan while dying, you will get Bhagavan's abode itself. What did Bharata do? He forgot Bhagavan. Oh, I'm dying. Please take me with you. He should be praying to Bhagavan. Ajamila did not remember Bhagavan, but at least he called out to his son. His son had been named Narayana. And he said, Narayana, what did Bharata do? The deer was there by his side. He had not given it a name of Bhagavan. He was not calling it by name. And he was thinking about the future of the deer. He was thinking, oh, what is going to happen? I'm going to die. What is going to happen to it? I will not be able to take care of it. I will not be able to enjoy its presence. I will not be blessed by its presence anymore. What is going to happen? In this way, he started thinking. Because his thoughts were fully engrossed in the mind of the deer, engrossed in the deer, he ended up taking birth as a deer in his next life. So this is the difference. Ajamila by chance got to say Narayana. Vidhi parinati bhedat vikshitaste nakale. Guru parishadu pajñam prapya gopayati swam. Vidhi parinati bhedat. By a stroke of luck, you are able to get Acharya Sambandha. Likewise, you need a stroke of luck. If you don't have a stroke of luck, what will happen? One, what is the stroke of luck? Stroke of luck is nothing but our own prarabdha punya. Bharata did not have the prarabdha punya to make him say the name of Bhagavan by himself. He did not have the punya to bring him back to devotion. Therefore, when he started thinking about the deer and started thinking about it completely, the Shastra says, you will become whatever you keep thinking about as you are dying. So, he took up the Sharira of the deer, not the deer that is there with him. He was born as a deer, but here comes the Punya. Now, in this second life, let us say life one. Of course, lives are infinite. But let us say life one was where he was the Maharaja. In life two, he is born as an animal. But because of his past punya, past great bhakti and so on. And Krishna says, even if the bhakta tries to move away, every step that he has taken towards me is permanent. Even if he tries moving away, even if he takes a U-turn and tries to run away, I will eventually pull him back. So what happened in the case of Bharata? He was born as a deer, but he remembered his past life. He had complete memory of his past life. Now, when he has come in the body of a deer, he has understood the problem with his past life. He understood the problem. I have made a mistake. I have been stupid. My real children were left by me. My real wife was left by me. The kingdom that deserved protection from me, it was left by me. All for what? The Shastras say, if it is to attain Bhagavan, you can forego anything. Forego the entire world to attain the Bhagavan, that is also okay. This is said by the scriptures. For example, Mahabharata has this shloka. This shloka is there in multiple scriptures. Mahabharata is one of them. So you can do tyaga of the entire loka for the sake of attaining moksha. But what have I done? I left all of them only to get trapped into the thoughts of some other being. Now, I cannot go back and change the past, but I will live a perfect life. I will live a perfect life. I will ensure that I am never attached. I am always detached. In that way, he lived as the animal and eventually he died. He was again born. This is when he was born to a Brahmana family in Angirasa Gotra. So, no, not a Maharaja now, not a deer now. This is the third life where he is a Brahmana. He remembers his past. As he remembers his past, he does not want to develop any kind of attachment. Brother, let them be. Parent, let them also be. Doesn't matter. I should focus on Bhagavan. I should not focus on anything or anyone other than Bhagavan. Thinking that way, he focused so much on Bhagavan. He became dirty physically, but he did not realize that it is physical dirt. He was thinking about Bhagavan. So many things, so many times he would do that would make people think he is an idiot. He is very stupid. His father thought we should get him properly educated. So his father got him tutored. But Jadabharata, who had already possessed the knowledge from the not only the life when he was a deer, but also the life before that. He already has all the knowledge, as Krishna says. What is the point of having a well if you don't even have thirst? For a person whose thirst has already been fulfilled, what is the point? What is the point of having the need to learn the Vedas when you have already learned the Vedas? So he wanted to skip Adhyana. Oh, if I waste time revising in the name of Adhyana, maybe I will get moved away. So let me prevent that also from happening. So he behaved like an idiot. His father thought I should get him married. Maybe marriage will solve the problem, but he couldn't get him married. The son was behaving like an absolute idiot. The father still loved him so much. The father still loved him. What is the father thinking now? Oh no, he has nobody other than me. He is not so intelligent. He is this, he is that. I'm the only one who can take care of him. He kept taking care of him. He tried many times to teach the Vedas and all the Karma Kanda part. But eventually, his father, that Brahmana, got old and he died. Now, at that time, Bharata's mother, she performed sati. It is said in the Shastras that the couple should live, couple meaning husband and wife, they should live such a life that both of them attain the same loka. If the wife is loving the husband so much that after he dies, when his body is being burned, she also cannot feel like living anymore. If she loves her husband so much and she jumps into that fire, what will happen? She will attain the same loka as her husband. They will be united there. This is the teaching of Dharma. That love will keep you united. His mother, therefore, she died. She had an older sister. sorry, older, whatever you call it, wife, another wife of that Brahmana. And she had children. She had 9 children, 9 brothers. So now Bharata's parents have died. He is in the care of his stepmother and stepbrothers. These yet he doesn't keep himself clean. He did not get to marry. He did not groom himself. He did not study anything. He did not become a scholar. He did not earn any money. He is an idiot. So let us just get work from him. They studied the Vedas, but even though they studied the Vedas, as these were materialistic people, they did not get the appropriate understanding of the Vedas. The Vedas teach the concept of bhakti. The Vedas teach the concept of Sharanagati. Yet, they failed to master the Vedas. They focused in Karma Kanda. They studied about all the ritualistic practices. And they were unable to develop bhakti. If they had developed bhakti, they would have been able to understand their half brother. But they did not develop bhakti. So, not understanding the greatness of this Bharata, who is staying like a Jada, they decided to give him less quality food, less quantity of food. They would give him a bad place to stay. They would get a lot of work done by him. He never cared. They thought we are being intelligent, we are exploiting it, we are getting a free servant. But he never cared. He was happy. His happiness made them also more happy. But they did not understand that they are being stupid, whereas he is being intelligent. Work also was done by Bharata only for the sake of food. Food was eaten only for the sake of survival. Survival only for the sake of thinking about Bhagavan and attaining moksha. This is how he lived. Bad quality food, very poor quality food. He would simply eat. He wouldn't feel anything bad about his brothers. He didn't care. When will you feel bad? When will you feel betrayed? Only when you have expectations. When will you have expectations? When you think they are related to you, yes, they have to do this. This is their duty because we are attached in some way. We are connected in some way. Jada Bharata did not even feel the connection this time. He did not feel bad. He thought, let them give whatever they want. I will eat. As long as I'm alive, that is enough for me. In this way, he started living. After learning the lesson. So, what did we say? We said Acharya Prapti is very necessary. But even after that, you need to show focus. Just because you got Acharya Sambandha, you shouldn't automatically assume that everything is over. Bhagavan is still there, karma is still there. All of those have to be taken into account. So, with this, I would like to conclude today's class. If you have any doubt, please feel free to ask.
I have one clarification. In
Yes.
both the stories, we got good clarity, both Ajamila and Jadabharata. Thank you so much. My clarity is we don't know what is the prarabdha papa we are having. So, how do you overcome the prarabdha papa?
See, what papa we are born with, or as a matter of fact, what punya we are born with, is not known to us. Okay. Jadabharata had prarabdha papa, because of which he was unable to continue the way he was. Okay. Now, if you had listened to how I explained, I said prarabdha papa could not take him out of the affection that he had for the deer. It is not as though he got affection only because of prarabdha papa. Remember, at some point he realized Oh, I have got so much attention. It has grabbed my attention. I have got so much affection for it. I am supposed to be performing this ritual in this way. I am not performing properly. I am doing some half work and then going again to take care of it. He realized it. Even after realizing that he is compromising on the rituals that are meant to please Bhagavan, and the very fact that it is to please Bhagavan that he was living all of these years and he even left his family and kingdom and everything and came to the forest. Despite all of that, he thought, no, it is worth it. Spending time with the deer this way is worth it. He thought that way. So he had some punya that let him understand that yes, something is going wrong. But at that time, his mind did not function properly. He was not able to take the correct decision. That was due to his past papa karma, prarabdha papa. So when you have prarabdha papa, it will work like that. You see Duryodhana's story. At some point, Duryodhana thinks, what am I gaining? Why am I living this way? What is the point of it all? But after that, he again becomes evil. Why? Because prarabdha. So, prarabdha will be like that. We do not have control over it. But who can protect us from that prarabdha papa? The same Bhagavan who protects us from sanchita papa by removing sanchita karma fully when we perform sharanagati. That same Bhagavan is the one who protects us from prarabdha papa as well. Bhakti can burn sins. I will tell you one thing. All that is done by people. So people see their horoscopes. So this habit of going to astrologers is very popular. It has always been very popular. I have nothing against astrology, but a lot of people, especially, they want to know what wrong is there in their life that is going to come in the future. What prarabdha papa do I have that is going to make my future bad? I want to find out what all things are going to go wrong in the future. And I should do the prayashchitas in advance so that nothing goes wrong. A lot of people think in this way. They are in fact being selfish. Oh, I shouldn't suffer, therefore I should do this. That is not the right way to approach prarabdha papa. Be it pleasure or be it pain. If I am going to deserve it, then I should experience it. But if this pain is going to take me away from Bhagavan, or even if pleasure is going to take me away from Bhagavan, I get so much pleasure, I am so happy. I have everything, I have a palace, I have all the money, I have all the servants, I have women, I have wine, I have everything. Let me just be merry and enjoy my life. A person who is that getting so much pleasure, that fellow would also probably forget Bhagavan, right? So our approach towards prarabdha papa should be that we understand that it is papa karma phala at the end of the day. We have done something wrong for which the phala is coming. Either we fully accept and experience it, or we say, I'm afraid that this papa karma would take me away from Bhagavan, and therefore I will pray to Bhagavan to keep me on track. When we pray to Bhagavan that way, when we say, I don't remember what sin I committed in some life, but it seems that sin is going to haunt me again. Please prevent it from taking me away from you. Please prevent it from taking me away from you. Don't let it be a prapti virodhi for me. Praying to Bhagavan in this way will solve the problem.
Thank you so much. Very good explanation and clarity. Very nice of you.
Thank you so much for attending. श्रीवत्सवं षट्परशोदधिकौस्तुभस्य श्रीवासराघवगुरोस्तनयं ततश्च विद्यावाप्यं दौतमतां ददानं कुर्वे सदा हृदिगुरुं करुणाग्राख्यम् आचार्य प्रोगमैः सर्वैः पूर्वैराचार्यैः सत्कृताय